Hi, welcome to this week's Sketchbook tour. So this week is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be taking you through my website and portfolio. This is mainly down to the fact that I've spent a lot of time doing storyboards this week and updating the site, but also because I've not really done all that much in my sketchbook, certainly not enough to warrant a full video. So yeah, I thought it would be a nice excuse to show off the more colourful work that I might do every now and again, as well as some of the album covers I've done and yada yada yada. So starting off with some of the illustration work that I've done, these are all non-commercial, these are all just for fun, really. Like I said, this is my portfolio, so this is something that I send off to potential clients and lead people this way if they want to know what it is that I do. But yeah, like I say, these are all non-commercial drawings. These were all just sort of things I did for fun. These first 6 were all things that I did before I had a tablet, even though the colour is digital, everything else is pen and ink. Among some of my most favourite things I've ever done. Don't ask me why. It just seemed like a really sort of creative time when I did these. Got a lot of fond memories of doing them. These are a little bit more recent, so maybe the last year or 2. I'm not really sure. I was experimenting more with taking a sketch and adding overtly digital elements to them, so making things very straight and hard and sharp when it comes to the digital elements, and then we'd have these more human elements in the line work itself. And I did that for a good couple of months. These are also examples of that, although by this stage they were becoming more like polished illustrations, I suppose. And then these 2 images that flank this stag were inspired by suggestions that were given to me from social media. So every now and again I ask people to tell me what to draw, and then I try and combine those suggestions into 1 or 2 drawings. So for this one, I can't really remember the exact suggestions, but a self-portrait was probably mentioned because that's me, or it was me a couple of years ago. This is my cat, Mouse, so she's not a crossbreed, her name is Mouse. So maybe a cat was suggested, and then a robot and guitars, obviously. And then for this one, it's very Blade Runner themed, but I think someone asked for a snake, someone asked for a pheasant, someone asks for a yak, maybe? I'm not really sure. But yeah, they're always a fun, when I've got the time and the energy, they're a fun experiment, really. You get suggested all sorts of weird and wonderful things, and then trying to actually combine them together is always a fun challenge. These are just drawings from a sketchbook. I think I have shared that particular sketchbook in this series before, so I won't go into too much depth, but they're just scanned in and smartened up a little bit. These are 3 things I've done in terms of a series of redrawing older drawings. So in a lot of cases these were inspired by drawings I did many years ago, and then I've tried to maybe sophisticate them or smarten them up a little bit, and it's an ongoing series. It's something I started in January this year, and I keep sort of dipping my toe back into every now and again, but it's more of a study exercise than anything, although a couple of these things have ended up on Redbubble, so wink wink nudge nudge, if you ever want to check that out, please feel free. I'm updating it not as regularly as I'd like, but there's a few of those things on there, and a few things that aren't on this site are also on there, so yeah, Anyway, enough of the plug. These are album covers, and there's a couple of logos, but I don't do many of those, really. Mostly album covers. So these three are the most recent things that I've done. But from there, the timeline's all over the place. So yeah, a real variety of time and imagery and even mediums. You know, some of these things are solely digital, some of them are only coloured digitally. Some of these I had more of a say in what actually the images were than others. You know, every now and again I'll get a brief. So I like it because you end up doing, much like the tell me what to draw drawings, you get the requests that you get are often things that you would never really dream of drawing. So it's always a fun challenge as and when those things come about. And as I also make music, or I certainly did back in the day, so there's a few of my own covers in there. So I obviously get more of a say of what those are. And every now and again people will say to me, just do whatever you fancy, so that's always fun as well. But on the whole, it's not very coherent to me. It just feels like a hodgepodge of different things, but I feel like it's worth showing. You know, I am proud of some of these. These are the logos, all three of them. So I have done others, but these felt like the most colourful and fun, and the ones that sort of fit in the most with the album covers. These are just scans from sketchbooks of studies, so all of these are from references, and all of which I've probably shared before, so I won't go into too much detail. But when it comes to actually putting them on the website, I have smartened them up and tried to arrange things nicely. So, but yeah, it's just me, not necessarily showing off, but you know, showing what it is I can do, the variety of things I can do. So, landscapes, anatomy, animals, flowers and minerals, you know, things like that. A showcase, let's say. So some food and mechanical things, and yeah. Now, this is the animation section, but I've only really, I don't really animate, to be honest. But I have done these, and these were part of the 500 page challenge that I did around March, April time of this year. Some of them are a little bit older. It's a compilation of things that I've done, but each rotation typically has about 24 images, continuous line drawings, and yeah, then I put it through Photoshop, rotate it, resize things, and yeah, it takes a lot of work, but I always feel like the result is quite nice. It's quite satisfying. That is on my YouTube channel, so if you want to watch it, feel free. I'm not going to bore you with it now, but it is on there if you'd like to see more of it. So this is the comic and concept design section. It's very bare at the minute. I have done quite a lot more since, but I'm in the middle of updating this website, so this is all that's on there at the minute. So 3 promo posters for the when I announced that I was finally working on my graphic novel, Scrambled Eggs. These are the kind of things that I posted. And then these are some of the characters and designs. Like I say, there are more. I have unfortunately had to postpone Scrambled Eggs. So originally I wanted it to be out in October, but now it's going to be out in January. But I do plan to start work on the finished artwork in October, so in a couple of weeks. And yeah, it's unfortunate, but I have just moved house, and there's been a lot of other things. I'm currently trying to find, bits and bobs of work, because things are always, drying up or whatever. So yeah, I'm having to concentrate on other things at the moment, but I do plan on actually releasing this thing. So yeah, there'll be more news about that coming soon. In fact, I do plan to release the script onto my Patreon in the next coming weeks. So if you'd like to know more about it, at least know what the story is going to be roughly about, you can go and visit on there. So these are fan art posters that I've done. Again, these were more studies than anything else. So for me, if I'm going to sort of practice how to do posters, I might as well use something that I'm familiar with. So in this case, I've used these 3 games. I've got quite a few of these partly done. I've got films in there, and then there's all the Ghibli stuff that I've done recently as well that I want to put on this section. But for now, these are just the 3 things that I've done. But like I was saying, they're a study, they're a means to practice poster design or cover design, also composition. So yeah. And then the storyboards. So this is one of the storyboards I've been working on this week. It's stripped back quite a lot, as you'll see. The others have got more tonal information. They're sort of, there's more greys and there's more shading. This one I wanted to keep quite loose and energetic. So it's a skater, and she's running away from security or the police. She's on a skateboard, comes to a banister, decides to jump over it, and unfortunately it's a lot more of a drop than she imagined, but she lands it anyway, looks back smugly at the fact that she just managed to clear this gap and get rid of the fuzz. Now, it's not perfect. It could probably do with a couple more panels just to really land what it is I was aiming for, but overall I'm quite happy with it. I'm not using a shot list for any of these. I'm sort of coming up with this stuff off the top of my head, which probably isn't the best way to do this sort of thing, but it gets me started. Storyboarding is something that I would quite like to do in the future, so this is me getting used to the idea of doing it and practicing, basically. I do plan to do more next week and the week after. I'm going to sort of do more things with known IP and characters and brands. And yeah, I'll probably share those in a few weeks as and when they are finished. So this is the next one, and they're all quite short from here out. They're like 6 to 4 panels each. So an establishing shot. It's morning. This guy's going off to work. He's going to do some mining, some gold mining. So he's there looking for gold, and then he finds this little ray of light. It's a little bit silly, but again, it's more for example's sake than anything else. So this is heavily inspired by Scrambled Eggs, my comic, my graphic novel. This isn't how it's going to look, but I did want to use some of the scenes from the script that I was working on at the time as an example for these storyboards. So there are a few more, but they're not quite finished. So yeah, there's just the 4 panels at the moment. And then finally, This is inspired by something I did do for a company, but I've changed certain names and removed a few of the boards. Now I could do with probably adding a few back in because it is quite basic, but it's basically a guy going into a shop, comes across this board game that he finds nostalgic, so he buys it, and then he wants to share this nostalgia with his daughter. So, but like I say, it could do with some work. Potentially, it's for me, it's the weakest one, but again, it's a means to end in order to get started with these sort of things. And that's it. That's everything I've got so far. Like I keep saying, there's plenty more to come, and I could probably do with editing a few things. There seems to be quite a lot there, but anyway, we'll leave it there. Hopefully the audio quality wasn't too bad. I am using my inbuilt mic. I will try and smarten that up a little bit, but I don't know how great it's going to be, but hopefully it's not too bad. Also, I want to apologise for not being able to do the live stream the other day. I did have to nip to the doctors, unfortunately, but everything's fine, and I do plan to try again next week, ideally Wednesday or Thursday. But I'll leave a post in the community post thing on YouTube about it, so I'll let you know when that's coming. There's going to be another study video this week as well, on my ongoing resources and prompts and things like that to keep you drawing throughout the week if you need a routine or if you're struggling to stick to one. I've tried to do that for anyone that wants to pick up drawing and stick to it. So there'll be another video of that next week. Feel free to check out the last one if you haven't already. And that's pretty much it. I hope to be back using pen and ink a lot more frequently over the next couple of weeks, so there'll be plenty more traditional sketchbook tours coming. And with that said, I'll leave it at that. So thanks for watching, and be good to yourself. Toodaloo. Bye.